This is Vader Reviews. We are honored that you would join us. You know, seeing Sonic the Hedgehog, my favorite childhood video game character, realized on the big screen last weekend, not only gave me a warm, fuzzy feeling of nostalgia in my old cyborg heart, it also set me to thinking. There are plenty of other video game characters that deserve their own feature film. So let's count down my top 5 video games I'd like to see on the big screen. If your favorite game isn't mentioned, don't get in a huff about it. Make your own list in the comments below. Before we begin, I will be the guest of Chris Knight on his channel, The Real Review 3000, at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time to discuss our upcoming Star Wars fan film, Fallen Jedi. Be sure to tune in. You don't want to miss it. Now with that out of the way, let's kick things off with number 5. The mean green machine that cleans up the scene. Vector Man. Set in the distant future age of 2049, that's roughly 29 years from now, Earth has become uninhabitable due to all of the toxic waste and trash that cover the planet's surface. Mankind has fled in colony ships leaving robots behind to clean up our little blue marble here and make it downright livable again. And if this all sounds a bit familiar, I'd be willing to bet dollars to pesos those jokers at Pixar played this game before they came up with the plot for WALL-E, since Vector Man was released in 1995 for the Sega Genesis. All they really did was take out all of the action as you fight your way through an entire robot army that has gone berserk and redesign Vector Man to look more like Johnny Five. Given my fondness for droids as a youngling, nothing was more thrilling than fighting my way through level after level to a totally wizard EDM soundtrack. I remember when this game was the pinnacle of video game graphics. The mechanical designs were also unique and interesting, so while I know it will never be made, for the sheer nostalgia of it all, I definitely lay down some green to see this machine on the big screen. Rolling in at number 4 is the Metroid franchise. Released August 6, 1986, this groundbreaking series changed the face of gaming forever through its use of non-linear gameplay. With its dark and brooding atmosphere, face-hugging creepy-crawly aliens, and even a main antagonist named Ridley, it's basically the Alien franchise for kids. The story follows ruthless bounty hunter Samus Aran, who is essentially a female Boba Fett. Except, she also has super strength and agility thanks to a transfusion of magic alien space blood from the Chozo, a mysterious bird-like race who took her in after she was orphaned as a small child. Let's face it, she's a totally wizard space babe that fights monsters and space pirates in one of the coolest and most iconic armor suits in gaming history. What's not to like? Before there was Master Chief, there was Samus Aran. Her complex backstory, mixed with its dark sci-fi tone, make it perfect for a big screen adaptation. And with the popularity of bounty hunters and female-led films these days, this is the Metroid we're looking for. Gunning for the number 3 slot are a couple of sci-fi heroes I'd love to see star in their own feature film. GunStar Heroes, a frenetic action shooter with a colorful anime aesthetic that completely blew my mind as a youngling. The debut title for developer Treasure Games for the Sega Genesis. In 1991, Masato Maegawa, along with other fellow Konami employees, Mitsuru Yaida and Hideyuki Soganami, who previously programmed Contra 3, broke off from Konami with other colleagues to create their own studio and make their dream game. GunStar Heroes to this day is one of my favorite video games of all time. Its innovative controls, massive boss fights, and amazing electronic score blend well with its fast-paced gameplay. Full of giant robots, colorful characters, and a search for mystical gems, this grand and imaginative space opera captured my imagination growing up, and proved a young Anakin Skywalker was destined to one day become an anime fan. All wings report in and do a barrel roll because flying in at number 2 is the courageous canine Cornelian Crusader, Star Fox. It's Top Gun meets Star Wars with bioweapons, giant robots, and colorful animal characters. Basically, my childhood Saturday morning cartoon dream come true. Fun fact, the reason the Cornelians are dogs and the evil Andross's forces are apes is due to an old Japanese expression, fighting like dogs and monkeys. Much like the Western saying, fighting like cats and dogs. The cinematic potential of this franchise can be seen in the anime-style short Nintendo produced for the release of Star Fox Zero. And I think loyal soldier of the Empire Tony Nicholson would agree that seeing the Star Wolf team on the big screen would be pretty wizard. As for voice casting, I think Chris Pine would make a great Fox. And not to get mercenary about it, but before I give my number one pick, it turns out your paychecks stop coming in when you toss your old boss on the reactor core of the Death Star. And since the Battle of Endor, this channel has become my livelihood. So to help support what we're doing here and keep this channel alive, please donate today. A link to our PayPal is in the description. Everyone who donates will have their name listed on the end credits of our fan film, Fallen Jedi. Donate today and become a hero of the Empire. Your support is greatly needed and appreciated. And finally, number one, the granddaddy of all RPGs, created by the legendary Shigeru Miyamoto, the 1986 classic, The Legend of Zelda. With a rich and complex mythology spanning over 19 titles, this franchise, more than any other, deserves a feature film. You'd have to be a total Goron not to see how epic this would be as a movie. And on a side note, if they don't capitalize on the System Link feature on the Switch to make the sequel to Breath of the Wild multiplayer, I don't know what's wrong with these guys. Hey, listen, naturally any game with an ultimate power source known as the Triforce is going to be a hit with me. Between its magical creatures, beautiful world, and enchanting music, this game isn't just wizard, it high rules. From the Farin Woods to the Great Deku Tree, the series gets an A+ from me. But speaking of Deku, be sure to tune in next weekend as I review My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, the brand new feature film that will hit theaters February 26th for limited release. So if you're an anime fan, try and get your tickets today. This has been Vader Reviews. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and follow me on Twitter. Join the Empire today, and always remember, you don't know the power of the dark side.